reason why I want to bring this video up today is because I know so many people that go through different ailments and issues, and they're always looking at the surface level. Well, you know what? I don't understand, because I've worked out my whole life, I've eaten healthy, and yet I have this particular issue with my body and I don't understand why. And that's when we have to look deeper into ourselves and looking at the hidden causes that could be there. And that is our emotions. And so trapped emotions are going to equate at some point in our life an issue, or it can be further along than an issue. It can turn into an illness. And so we have the ability to move that energy through our body and out of the body once we have that recognition of what we're holding on to. Now, I talk to a lot of people that say, oh, I don't have anger. But what happens is that with some people, depending on their personality, is that when, big issues happen, that they, somebody is very angry with them, it hurts them, manipulates them, maybe leaves them, they will store that anger instead of expressing it. And so what that was me as a young child is that, in my very early days, when I was in, elementary, junior high, I was bullied, and I never stood up for myself because I was a very, very shy person. I was very introverted, very, very quiet. And so I never said anything. As I got older, teens, same thing, I would go through whatever issues in my life, and I still never really spoke my voice because I was more of the people pleaser throughout my whole life. And I always just wanted to keep the peace. I never wanted to stir up anything. And then once I get into my late 30s, early 40s is when I began to really feel be able to stand in my power and to speak my voice. But what ended up happening was that a lot of that anger that I had suppressed for so many years from lots of different things that go on in life, because nobody escapes life unscathed, okay? Everybody has issues. Everybody has problems, all to varying degrees. So even if you're a multimillionaire, you're a billionaire, or you're living a comfortable life, there is issues within everybody's life that they have to overcome. And so for me, I had swallowed a lot of that anger throughout the years. And so once I turned into my later 30s and 40s, my anger I started to allow myself to feel that anger and to express it. And that is a good thing in order to be able to express that anger. But what ends up happening with some people is that they will have inflammation in the liver, they will get fatty liver, they will have other issues with being able to digest, because the liver and the gallbladder work in tandem with each other. So then gallbladder issues can also be an occurrence if the liver is inflamed from these held emotions. And then also, how do we work through that? And then in collaborating with different supplements and stuff in order to help us to be able to get rid of the issues that are going inside. And so number one is being aware of yourself. What held emotions, anger do you have? Maybe you are a very angry person. And again, having alcohol will bring that out in a lot of people. And of course, we know that alcohol affects the liver on various different levels too. And some people, when they drink certain types of alcohol, that will create more anger issues. And so, but the thing is it the alcohol, or is it what resides inside of us that we've held so deeply that is coming out when we're doing that? I think it's kind of the latter. It's kind of like when you have an orange, what Wayne Dyer always used to say is when you have an orange, you squeeze an orange, what comes out of it is orange juice. So when you have somebody that is really, really angry and you put pressure on that person, then what is going to come out of them is those emotions, whether that is anger, whether that is sadness, whether that is guilt, that is going to come out within them. So when it comes to liver and liver health, it is acknowledging, first of all, whether you're a woman, a man watching this, is how angry are you? Or if you have liver issues, what have you gone through in your life where you have stored emotions and never allowed yourself to express it? Because a lot of people maybe feel unsafe, or they were like me when I was a kid and I was very introverted and very shy, that I didn't feel that I had the authority to speak my voice. I just didn't have that power within me to stand in myself to show that I was angry and to do something about it. So find out where that is. And then 2 is allowing yourself to express it, allowing yourself to speak that through yourself, allowing yourself to be angry if you feel angry, allowing yourself, even if it's speaking it out loud to nobody in the room, is to get angry and yell, allowing yourself to have the voice that you may have not been able to allow yourself in the past to have. The other thing is, if you are able to have conversations with somebody that has done you wrong, is to express yourself in a calm way, but being able to get your feelings out. I know that for me, even though I've been working on this for a while, that I will have inflammation going on in my liver. And I know that it's directed to just different issues that are going on in my life. And maybe it's not even somebody else. Maybe it's anger towards myself, frustration towards myself, which has been an issue. Gallbladder, which correlates to bitter thoughts, frustration with the self. And years ago I had gallstones. Now I still have my gallbladder. So I chose to keep my gallbladder. I chose to do alternative cleanses and working with homeopathy, which helps to bring up emotions. So it works on the body on the cellular level, but also helps to work on the emotions, to bubble up the emotions so that they can be released. And I was able to get rid of them. And how I know that is because in my early 20s, I had gallstones that were the size of quarters, and I got rid of them. And I've done many ultrasounds over the years in order to show that I had no more gallstones. So I know that that is possible and it is effective. And also too, if people have gallbladder issues and they have their gallbladder removed, if they're not changing their diet, they're not changing their lifestyle, they haven't worked on fully themselves and integrated, allowing themselves to let go of the bitter thoughts that have been holding them back and creating this illness in the first place, and forgiving themselves for not having, the frustration for being what they want, or being the person that they thought they should be, working deeply on self-love with themselves, then that illness is going to come up again in other parts of the body. It's just not like you get rid of it and be like, okay, it's gone, now we can move on in life. Our body never forgets. Everything is stored. Everything, our body is so magical and so wonderful and so special that way before the gallstones came, way before, inflammation in the liver or whatever issue you might be dealing with happened, is that our body was always giving us signs and signals that something was up. And what happens is it starts with a whisper, and then we don't listen. And then it goes into getting louder, and it will show us in other issues that are going on with our body and other illnesses that might be just little things, but we still don't listen. Then it will give you a big thing that is happening within your life, which is an illness. And at that point, it is whether you are going to listen to that and go within and start to work on your body on a very deep level and creating a lot more self-love and acceptance, and getting rid of the distractions that are going on within the world. Because that's the other thing too, is that in this day and age, we're really, exposed to too much information. Because that's not how our lives are intended to be. It is, what's going on in our home, what's going on in our town, or if you live in a city. And that's kind of like the extent of it. But what's happening now is that we have the exposure of everything that is going in the world. And all of that energy is affecting us. And like my other videos that I've spoken of, it's not just on the conscious level, it's on the subconscious level. And so affecting our energetic frequency, how we live our lives day to day, how it's affecting our sleep, how it's affecting our mood, how it's affecting how we are actually going about and living. And a lot of people don't realize that because it's so subconscious. And so when we start to get rid of the distractions of social media, giving yourself a social media detox, if you find that difficult, that's a really good sign that you have an addiction to it. So even a more reason to cut it out of your life for an extended period of time, so you can see where you can actually flourish and how you can actually reconnect with yourself. And the frequency that we're seeing on all the social media and what is going on out there is pulling us down. It is creating us to be a smaller version of our true authentic self, where we're not able to really expand and fly the way we want to, unless you already have a very strong sense of who you are and a strong mind, and you keep the algorithm strictly and basically on, health and joy and funny, none of the other stuff that's going on. And I'm not saying being ignorant with what's going on in the world. It's very hard not to know what's going on in the world because everyone is always talking about it and it's all around us anyway. So I feel like I never watch the news. I haven't watched the news, in like 30, 40 years. But even if you cut that out, you're going to know what's going on. You cut out social media, you're going to know what's going on. You're not missing out. I think we've also been brainwashed to think that you need to have that, especially the boomers that, they've always been programmed at supper time to watch the news, and they don't realize the effect that it has on the brain and the body. And that when we see something over and over and over again, whether it's truth or not, we actually subliminally start to believe that it's true. So it can be absolutely false. It can be absolutely the furthest from the truth. It can be people that are manipulating us to believe one end of things to incorporate fear for their own benefit, let's just say. And we start to believe that, because we see it day in, day out, and it becomes programmed in our mind. Remember back in the day now, I'm a kid of the 80s, back in the 80s, 90s. Let's get back to your regular programming. It is programming your mind. Now, this all incorporates into our health and wellness, because what we are seeing and what we're feeding ourselves mentally every day is what is also creating our body. It is creating our health. So it is very deep. It runs very deep. And so liver health, when we're seeing all these things on, social media and things that are not making us happy and making us angry, it's affecting our liver. It is affecting us. And now, and so we are feeling angry. We are waking up at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. is Chinese medicine time of liver health. So if you're waking up at 3 a.m. and, I know spiritualists will say, oh, it's the waking hour. Okay. Yeah. But even more so, if you're not seeing a spirit, you're waking up because your liver is not happy. And so, having the realization, journaling. And I know I've spoke about other, wonderful things that you can do in order to help to pull those energies through your body, is somatic healing. And there's lots of YouTube videos that you can look at that can help you work on that. Or there's different practitioners that you can have. Cranial sacral. Another one is EFT tapping, and it's working certain trigger points within the body, helping to move that energy through your body as well. Movement in general, okay? And I've spoke about this too, is that somebody who's in my later 40s, what I love to do is I will put my runners on and I will get to a field and I will do sprints. So I'll either walk on a daily basis to get movement in, or I will do sprints. And the reason why I love sprints, because if I'm feeling freaking angry, if I'm feeling frustrated, if I'm feeling I am stagnant in whatever's going on in my life, I will start to do sprints. And I will tell you that will start to move energy. It will start to shift the way you're feeling. Don't have a field next to you? Go to the gym, go on a treadmill, go on a track at your local YMCA, rec center. Start to do sprints and start to see how you're feeling. Number one, as a woman or even a man, over the age of 40, it really helps to build healthy testosterone, because we need testosterone in our body in order for us to be creative, for us to have, strength, energy, joy, zest for life. All of those things are very important when it comes to testosterone. And women, that's a whole other video, but when it comes to women, we have been negated in talking about the importance of testosterone in our body, especially as we get older and that starts to decline. So sprinting will help to increase that, and it will really help to move that energy, especially of anger and resentment and rage, that could be stored in your body, or that's like currently in your body, and you need to kind of move that through. So that's one of my fun things. The other thing too is you can do some heavy weights, because weight training really helps. It's just like that, like I just put on this empowering music and I just move that energy through. Movement is key. Even with somatic healing, it's movement of the body that is helping to move that energy. Another thing that you can do is acupuncture. That's a really beneficial thing too, to move energy through the system. A correlation with that is with liver. I love to do castor oil packs. And so again, you can look at some of my other videos on castor oil packs, the benefits of that, which are so many different ones. And you keep looking here, because I'm going to have a full guide on castor oil healing here really soon. But that helps with moving the lymph. It also helps to detox the liver, helps to bring down inflammation, not just liver, but other organs in the body as well. And absolutely so wonderful and beneficial. Again, you can do that on gallbladder as well. And, blessing that area. Putting your hands over your body. Again, you are an electrical being. You are a frequency being. So when we're sending love, we're sending gratitude to our body. There is actual science now. This is something I never needed, because I always knew it worked. But now there's actual science showing how when we're saying prayers and we're saying gratitude, how it actually is changing the cellular structure of the body. And so we can definitely heal our body in many different various degrees when we are giving it gratitude, giving it love, and we are giving, sending it healing energy and prayer. That's why, Reiki works. I always tell people, if you get Reiki, really get to know who is doing the Reiki on your body. I always say that because I've seen some people out there that do Reiki and they are not positive beings out and about in the world. And I'm like, I want to be careful at who is laying their hands on my body, what kind of real intentions going on, but also the person that they are, that their frequency is affecting my frequency. And so I really get to know who the people are, if I are to do that. I do Reiki on myself and my kids, my son, and family members, because I have gone through that, but I don't do it on strangers or anything. But so I would do it on myself for the most part. But if I were to get a Reiki person, I always just am very cautious at the energy of the person that is doing it. So I don't just go and look it up on Google, and even if they've got lots of reviews, I like to know who's putting their energy on my energy. It makes a difference. So that's just a little side note on that. The other thing too is then obviously homeopathics. And I do love homeopathics. And I will tell you, my brother was really heavily into homeopathics in the early 2000s. And he would talk to me about it. And I was like, that's just garbage. That doesn't work. That's woo-woo. Even though I was deep into meditation, deep into all of these like Reiki and all of that. I just didn't believe in it for some reason until I started to have other health conditions that I realized that, this is emotional. And then I started utilizing the homeopathics and seeing how that really does help to bubble up stored emotions in the body. And so going to see somebody that is really versed in homeopathy can really change your life and can really move that energy through as well and heal you on a deep level. So that's another wonderful thing that you can do. And so this video is just primarily to give you guys the awareness that our body isn't just about what food you're putting in. It isn't just about the exercise that you're doing and you're doing it perfectly and you're doing it immaculately. Because if you are a stressed out person, if you are an angry person, if you are a really frustrated person, if you're holding a lot of resentment and guilt and shame throughout your life, you are going to have health issues. And so we need to work on that. I'll touch on kidneys in another video, but kidneys is fear. It is trauma that was held as a kid or earlier on in your life at some point and unresolved. But fear is a big one with kidney. And so a lot of us, especially in this day and age with how we are programmed to fear, because that is the main program that's running. And when we have a lot of fear, it's shutting down the frontal lobe, is affecting the brain, creating holes in the brain, is creating a lot of issues with the brain. So we aren't able to focus. But you have everybody with ADHD, ADD, that's not also incorporated with the medications that are out there and the poor food, like a lot of the food dyes and the chemicals that we are just, it's just given out like willy-nilly now, and every kid's on ADHD medication, which has long-term effects, I might add. There's so many other things that we can do than just dosing our kids with ADHD medication and dulling them out, dumbing them down, because that's what it's doing. It is dimming their light, and there's other things that we can be doing rather than doing that. That's a whole other episode as well. So feel out where you're at. How are things going on with your liver? And that knowing that when you work on yourself and you look at yourself and you can be with yourself and listen to your own thoughts instead of, maybe self-medicating, because a lot of people with, drugs and alcohol, it's not even about the drugs and alcohol. It's about what is going on inside that person where they need an escape from themselves, is figuring out how you can listen to your own thoughts and feelings, and getting into maybe meditation, getting into hemisync, which is one of my favorite things that I've done for 30 years, is helping to balance out the left and right brain waves, and how that can help your body on very deep levels. Another thing that you can do, guys, I actually want to add really quickly, because this is very, very helpful, is light and sound technology. So there are grounding mats out there. There's a lot of different grounding mats out there, you guys. And I know of one, I'm here in Canada, and where I'm in Alberta, is that there is an amazing company that has grounding mats with actually crystal technology through it. So when crystals are actually heated, that it actually creates different frequencies as well, and able to help the body. Really great against, the 5G, 6G towers that are out there. Really great for EMF rays that we've been exposed to, helping the body to recuperate and regenerate on a cellular level, because it has the LED laser lights. It also has the chakra, the crystals. Then it also has the grounding frequency and other frequencies within it, because there's a remote. If you guys want to know more about that, then message me and I will send you a link for that, because it is by far the best thing that I've ever utilized, and it will change the frequency in your body. So you're able to actually connect better with yourself. Your brain operates better. Your whole body operates better when you are able to change the frequency of where you're at, which a lot of us are at a lower frequency. The mitochondria of our cells are not able to get the nutrients and the energy that it needs because of the radiation and the EMFs that we have been experiencing. But on top of that, it is all of the chaos, the fear, the anger, the resentment that we are feeling in this day and age, which of course we have a right to feel, because there's a lot of crap going out there, and that's the nicest way to say it. And so I want you guys to be able to excel and feel your absolute best, because this is what all of my videos are about. This is why I've been doing what I've been doing for 27 years, which is working on the holistic level of helping people to feel their absolute best through holistic nutrition, movement, supplements, energy work, because that is how we are going to move ahead. It is not cutting out and giving a ton of medication for. That's old school. We are in a new world right now, you guys. That it doesn't work, and a lot of us know it doesn't work. And there's other things that we need to do and to incorporate into our lives to be our healthiest version of ourselves. So I hope this video helped you, and I will talk to you on the next one.